Here are a few things that have astronomical chances of happening. Number 10, perfect NCAA bracket. Technically, it's not impossible to fill out a perfect March Madness bracket, but really, the odds are pretty much impossible, although it could happen. Think you could pick all the winners in an NCAA tournament? Probably not. There are over 9 quintillion different bracket combinations. That's a 9 followed by 18 zeros, which, if these brackets were filled out by hand and stacked on top of each other, would be enough paper to reach Pluto and back 60 times. Theoretically anyways. However, you could trim that down to 128 billion to 1 odds by factoring ratings and seedings. In other words, picking all 63 games correctly, excluding the first 4 play in games, is next to impossible. You're literally more likely to play in the NBA. Oh, and even though there's speculation out there, there's no evidence that anyone has ever filled out a perfect NCAA tournament bracket. One of the closest people to accomplish the feat was a 17-year-old boy named Alex Herman, who predicted every game correctly until the Sweet 16. Then things started to unravel. Number 9, meteorite shower. Is there anyone out there that has a legit fear of getting hit by a meteorite? Putting an actual number on the chances of being hit by a space rock is difficult since the events are so rare. However, Tulane University Earth Sciences professor Stephen A. Nelson published a paper in 2014 that made the effort anyways. He put the lifetime odds of dying from a local meteorite, asteroid, or comet impact at 1 in 1.6 million. To be honest, that number kinda seems high to me just because there's billions of people on Earth, and where are all the people dying from meteorites? Anyway, Anne Hodges from Russia is the only confirmed person in history to have been hit by a meteorite. The meteorite crashed through her living room and it ended up hitting her on the side. But she survived, and the story became international news. Number 8, winning the lottery. Winning a lottery doesn't involve skill. Maybe that's a gift and a curse. Since lotteries are determined purely by chance, all you need to do is play and then just be very lucky. Today, there are many different types of lotteries, from the simple 50-50 drawings at local events to multi-state lotteries with jackpots of several $1,000,000. So, what are your odds of winning the jackpot? I don't think I need to tell you that your chances aren't good, but the exact odds depend upon many factors. In a lottery in which you pick 6 numbers from a possible pool of 49 numbers, your chances of winning the jackpot are roughly 1 in 14 million. If you were to buy 1 lottery ticket each week in such a scenario, you could expect to win once every 269,000 years. Okay, seriously, where are all the people getting hit by meteorites? Anyways, what's surprising is that there are many lotteries that have even worse odds. For example, the odds of winning a Mega Millions multi-state lottery are approximately 1 in 176 million. However, sometimes these jackpots get so big it can technically become a plus EV to play in a lottery, even if the chances to win are astronomically low. Number 7, struck by lightning. Did you guys know that the rubber on your shoes do nothing to protect you from lightning? Or that talking on the telephone is a leading cause of lightning injuries inside the home? Or that standing under a tall tree is one of the most dangerous places to be during a lightning storm? Well, now you do. Anyways, the chances of you being struck by lightning is extremely unlikely. The odds of becoming a lightning victim in the US in any one year is 1 in 700,000. The odds of being struck in your lifetime is 1 in 3,000. There have been 3,696 deaths recorded in the US between 1959 and 2003. Injuries range from severe burns and permanent brain damage to memory loss and personality change. About 10% of lightning strike victims are killed and 70% suffer serious long-term effects. About 400 people survive lightning strikes in the US each year. But really, lightning is nothing to lose sleep over. Number 6, Nebraska choir miracle. A Nebraska church exploded one night back in 1950, and no one was injured that evening, and it was declared a miracle. Wait a minute, why on earth was this a miracle? Well, it's because the explosion happened right after the start of a scheduled choir practice, but every single member of the choir was coincidentally late for practice that night. Not one of the 15 people who should have been present was injured because no one had arrived yet when the building collapsed. Every single one of the choir members had a valid reason to be late. One choir member, for example, was working on an important letter, while another choir member and her daughter were late because they had to tend to matters at her mother's house before arriving. Another man was late because he was taking care of his 2 sons and didn't realize until the last minute that he was late. As you may have already assumed, they immediately called the event an act of God. But what are your chances of 15 people all coincidentally late to avoid a disaster? Roughly 1 in a million, although calculating precise odds is pretty much an impossible exercise. Number 5, planes, trains, and automobiles. Are you flying somewhere soon? Feeling somewhat nervous about it? Honestly, you have absolutely no reason to be worried. Probability is on your side. Put your headphones on and sit back and relax. Although more than 40% of passengers report fear of being involved in a plane crash, the odds of being killed are ridiculously low. The airplane has revolutionized travel as it's made journeys that used to take weeks and months into just a few hours. What's amazing about it is that it's extremely safe, as it's the safest form of transportation. Statistically speaking, a person would have to take a flight every day for 55,000 years before encountering a fatal accident. You're more likely to be killed by a falling coconut, or in a car on the way to the airport. In 2016, 325 people died in 19 airplane crashes worldwide. That might seem like a lot, but more than 2,500 left-handed people are killed every year from using equipment meant for right-handed people. The odds of a plane crash are 1 for every 1.2 million flights, and the odds of dying from flying are 1 in 11 million. The chances of dying in a car? About 1 in 5,000. Number 4. Shark attack? Sharks are probably one of men's greatest fears during the nice warm summer days spent at the beach. But what are the actual odds of getting attacked by a shark? In 2016, there were 53 unprovoked shark attacks in the US. None fatal, according to the Florida Museum of Natural History's International Shark Attack File. Worldwide, there were 81 confirmed attacks in 2016 that included 4 deaths. The National Aquarium in Baltimore says the odds of being killed by a shark are 1 in 3.7 million. If you were trying to avoid sharks, your best bet is to not be a surfer, as surfers suffer the most attacks. However, nearly 6 in 10 US attacks involve someone engaging in a board sport. Experts say it's probably because surfers spend a lot of time in the surf zone, where waves are breaking, and area sharks also like to hang out. One other tip is to avoid where seals hang out because sharks love their seals. Number 3. Laser eye surgery. Anyone scared of LASIK? Well, there's really no reason to be scared at all. While most see improvements from LASIK eye surgery, it comes with risks ranging from severe dry eye to vision loss. However, the chances of going blind are astronomically low. About 600,000 LASIK procedures are performed annually in the US according to the FDA. The elective surgery that costs an average of $2,000 per eye is used to correct nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism. LASIK has a success rate in the high 90% range, but of course not everyone is going to be happy with LASIK. While the chances of most of the problems associated with LASIK occurring are less than 0.5%, for most people, they still do happen. However, worrying about going blind really shouldn't keep anyone up at night. The chances of going blind from LASIK is almost too small to measure. Estimates are around 1 in 5 million. Number 2. Blue lobsters? Lobsters caught off the Atlantic coast of North America aren't usually very bright. In color, that is. They tend to be murky greenish brown color until they're boiled, and that's when they turn into an orangey red color. That's familiar to lobster lovers. So it's no surprise that when 2 fishermen off the coast of Nova Scotia made the news that they caught not 1, but 2 vivid blue lobsters 93 miles apart in quick succession, among the region's fishermen, it's traditionally considered to be a sign of good fortune. The probability of any lobster having this coloring is widely touted as being 1 in 2 million. The University of Maine Lobster Institute is among those who have quoted these odds in the past, although its executive director, Rob Bayer, admits that the odds are pretty much merely a guess. Bright blue lobsters happen because of a genetic abnormality that causes them to produce more of a certain protein than others. However, there are even rarer colors of lobster out there. Yellow lobsters account for 1 in 30 million of total stocks according to the Lobster Institute. But 2 fishermen in Dorset hit the ultimate lobster probability jackpot in 2011 when they caught an albino or crystal lobster. The odds of this are thought to be 1 in 100 million. Number 1. Deck of cards. Do you know what the odds are of shuffling a deck of cards into the right order? Well, what's the right order anyways? This one's gonna be relative. Anytime you shuffle the deck, you put the deck in an order that's pretty much nothing short of a miracle. Yet, inconsequential all at the same time. That's because of all the different and unique combinations that there could be for just a single deck of cards. You've just shuffled the deck into a combination that you'll unlikely shuffle again for quite a long while. What are the chances of shuffling a deck into an order that a deck comes in a new packaging? That number is 1 followed by 68 zeros. 68 zeros, that's a huge number, supposedly roughly equal to the number of atoms in our galaxy. However, cards players still report it happening. How? The reason is in the shuffle. For example, if a dealer riffle shuffles a fresh pack, which is splitting the deck in two and interleaving the cards together, the pack can end up back where it was just after 8 shuffles. Thus, paradoxically, people who aren't very good at shuffling can do a better job of jumbling a pack than those who are. But improbable things happen all the time because improbability is an illusion based on our preconceptions. Often, it has nothing to do with statistical truth. Maybe there really is a such thing as luck. Here's what's next.
The story is more famous than the story with Adam and Eve. I can't think of any. If you think there's a more famous biblical story, let me know. Okay, never mind. It's probably Jesus being born. Anyways, most people know the story of Eve giving Adam that mythical fruit that sealed the fate for everyone.